sponsor, Manscaping. You know, have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped. What are you thinking about
Love
Manscaped, dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
so Manscaped is a
You-
must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to go do the deed on a woman, would you rather have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
racing stripe,
full retro bush?
Racing stripe.
Retro bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to wander into that.
That's very interesting.
Like that.
I never thought about that. You're a smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured, you can see both sides. It's not
like blinking lights on both sides of that.
I don't want, I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that as well.
Gotcha. Oh, look what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
I found it.
Have you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
what is
retro? Just,
absolutely.
You're like, whoa!
Wow!
Yeah, I'm 46.
Like it pops out.
Do you like walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's
through.
a trooper. Yeah. He's a trooper. Got to give him an A.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen,
go.
I couldn't say. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven, does Manscaped could help you?
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Yeah, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but with that, we're going to take a quick
Batman.
commercial break and we'll be back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop kick.
Tonight, Mike, you came packing. Go on.
Not a fan, but what a great interview he did with The Undertaker.
I've only seen shorts. Go on. Tell me more.
Well,
and yeah, it looks awesome on the surface. What I've seen looks pretty damn cool.
I'm gonna say this to you.
Okay.
If you watched or you listened to the whole interview,
all right,
you realize that if you're doing this, right, no matter how popular you are, right?
Okay. What is this?
The podcasting, interviewing, the shit that we do, other people do.
All right.
You're never gonna ever be taken seriously like they take each other seriously. That boys club, it's like you'll never be in. So if you ever think you're in, what Rob Van Dam said last week that Dylan kept saying to him, "Are you my friend? Are you my friend?"
Right.
You'll never be in. So for podcasters out there that interview these wrestlers or whatever, interview athletes, but we're talking about the wrestling world, right? It was never more evident that these guys, unless you're in the business and you're wrestling, and I'm talking in the business, they play the games like, oh, if you're an indie guy, we show you respect. No, bullshit. If you're in the WWE or you in a WWE or WCW or NWA, they treat each other with respect, and no matter how hard anybody tries,
and even then, that's not a guarantee that they treat each other with respect.
That's true.
You know, honestly, what we do, and you know that this is 100% true when it's coming from me. When I say this, I don't ever expect to be in the business as one, and I could never be one of the boys. And I even completely have the nerve to get it that that's their relationship with each other.
Well,
And
can I ask you this though?
they have every right to that.
But wait a minute.
That's their right.
In order to get respect, you got to give respect, right?
I'm following. Go ahead.
So if they really don't respect you, you look, I've seen you across the table. You're always complimentary. You love the sport. You respect what they've done. You respect what they've done for you in your childhood and beyond.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
but
true.
in reality, they don't fucking respect anybody.
Most of them don't. You know, I think there's still exceptions, but they're very few. You know?
How does that make you feel?
They're very few. It makes me feel like shit because as a fan, if you're asking me, you know, how I felt about professional wrestling as a fan before we got involved in doing what we do, it was still that childhood thing. There was like this fondness and wonderment about it and always fascinated with it. And I didn't know these people or get to see these people personally. And over the years, we have seen, if you look in our library, hundreds of these people. And sadly enough, most of them, you know, have a problem with each other, have done something stupid, have acted stupid. Look, wrestlers are entitled to feel that way about each other. I get all of that. But to disregard the fan, that's bullshit. You know.
Well, let me bring it one step further since we're talking about the Bully Ray Undertaker thing, right? So, right, we've discussed how Bully Ray gets mad when people talk about, you know, using, you know, wrestling terminology and blah, blah, blah. And then how dare a fan critique a wrestling match? You don't know shit about it.
Right.
So now I'm going to play this. This is from Busted Open Radio. And I'm going to start this conversation by saying you, and this is not to Bully Ray this time. This is that fucking can of paint Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer, who thinks he actually did anything. He's a fucking idiot. He sucks. He's fucking lucky. He's a lucky son of a bitch. But here's the thing. You sit there and you fucking complain about fans. This is the shit we get the other day. And you don't tell me I shouldn't be offended. I want everybody to listen. Jimmy, I want you to weigh in.
But really quickly, think of all the things. Real quick, think of all the things Jesus has accomplished, and the favorite day of his life was being on stage with Bully and I at the Jericho Cruise,
walking on water, parting the Red Sea. I mean, let me meet Bubba and Dave.
You too.
Hey,
listen, I can tell a joke, but I'm also good at handing them off too, bro. Right?
And it was Moses that parted the Red Sea, not Jesus. Tommy.
Oh, really?
Yes, actually, yeah, that's true. He walked on water. He didn't part disease.
He fed fishes.
Walked on water.
I can't believe.
Yes.
He slept with fishes.
I can't believe you just. I just can't believe that I just gave a perfect handoff.
That's right.
And this guy just fumbled the ball. Like
I got 50% off.
Part of the. Tommy, Jesus parting the Red Sea.
He's a false prophet, like the guy who split
my God.
Part of the Red Sea.
Tommy.
How did I come into this conversation again?
Hey.
We're talking religion like immediately. Busted open. We're talking religion, guys. Next up is politics.
Catholic, grammar school, high school, and college. And I forgot that big one. Sorry about this.
Thank you guys for having me on today. It's an honor and a pleasure, as always.
What do you think, Jimmy?
Well, he obviously doesn't realize that some people have a very strong faith in the Old Testament and the New Testament. I'm going to answer this, oddly enough, as my days as a youth minister and an elder in the church. Not realizing who parts the Red Sea and not realizing, look, you don't have to believe. I'm not asking him to believe. but basically calling Jesus of Nazareth a false prophet is spitting unnecessarily for the sake of a joke, and by the way, a very in bad taste joke. Everything that Jesus stood for and died for is to be respected, whether you believe in it or not. And I have never cracked any kind of religious joke towards any religion, because there are things that are out of bounds. And the can of paint looks like it rolled off the top of the house and hit the pavement and rolled to the fence, because that's over the fence, you know. Rude and annoying and wrong on so many different levels. So not respecting the Judaism of Jesus and the lineage that is clearly drawn out in the genealogies of the Bible, believe it whether you want to or not, but lay off those who do believe and don't use it as a very, very tasteless joke.
Well, I kind of feel like, you know what, you get offended over wrestling. Sorry. You get offended over wrestling, but you think it's okay to make. Look, here's the thing. Everything was okay
That's
with
ironic.
me.
That's a great
everything,
point, by the way.
Well, it is ironic, and it's a joke, but everything was okay with me to the point you started saying he was a false prophet. Yeah. Now you are insulting my religion, other people's religion, and again, you've already been called on the carpet for your insensitive comments about a woman who had psychological problems after Ric Flair put his dick on her, and you thought it was okay. Now you think it's okay to call Jesus Christ a false prophet.
Right. Well, here's the good news for a guy who makes fun of that subject. The good news for him is that Jesus will turn the other cheek and tell him to strike the other one. Mr. Know-It-All over there, who doesn't understand the basic principles of why so many millions of people do turn to the Bible, because the Bible actually, if you take a look at the Old Testament and the New Testament, whether it's Moses parting the Red Sea or Jesus shedding the blood, notice the red connection between the two events on the cross. All right, whether you understand the fullness of a beginning, a middle, and an end and actually makes sense is not my problem. And if I have a belief in that, and you know that this has been going on, by the way, for thousands of years, your ECW tapes will not last thousands of years, my friend.
I got to be honest with you.
I shot at the one who was told at the end of the Old Testament who was to come, and called the prophet, which they said was to come, who came and died in Jerusalem at the hands of the Roman Empire. Thousands of years later, we still talk about this man who turns out to be the Son of God in many of our hearts. And this guy's like throwing shade and when over wrestling.
You know what?
Wrestling.
You know what it brings.
This gets back to when they booed Hogan. It's
wrestling. You know what it brings me to?
Fucking weird.
Don Imus, who I was not a fan to.
I love Don Imus.
Made some I didn't, but it doesn't matter whether you like him. I gotcha. He made insensitive comments towards a basketball players, and he lost his position.
Yes, he did.
It's a shame on this planet that Sirius Radio finds it acceptable that one of their co-hosts can insult an entire fucking religion, and nothing gets done. That nothing gets done to him.
Religions. That's the important part, Mike, because Jesus didn't part the Red Sea. Moses parted the Red Sea, okay? And in Judaism, that is a huge deal. And in Christianity, that is a huge deal.
But, okay, so but in my site, he didn't know what he was talking about. He made a mistake, and it was a joke. He clearly wanted to get a point that he felt Christ was a false prophet, because he says it once, it doesn't get through everybody. They don't hear it. So he makes sure he sends it again.
Right.
So, Tommy Dreamer, here's my message to you before we move on. I hope you're wrong that Christ was a false prophet, because if you're not, then your dead parents are fucking worm food.
It's hot down there. It's hot down there.
No. You missed what I said, so I'm going to make it clear in case anybody didn't hear it.
Oh, I heard
it. If Christ is a false prophet, then I feel bad for you because your dead parents are worm food.